Welcome to How to Beat the Difference with your hosts, Johanna and Paul. A podcast for the career you want, or maybe just that push you need. If you want to know what your dream career looks like, join us to get inspiration from industry experts that will make that dream career a reality.
Hello and welcome along to How to Beat the Difference with your hosts, Paul Linsky and
Johanna Molina. How are you, Paul?
I'm good, Johanna. You know, it's nearly St. Patrick's Day in Ireland.
I know. Fantastic. Congratulations. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're celebrating it in Colombia as well, by the way.
Yes. What's that? So I'll tell you what they're doing in Ireland, but you go ahead first. What are they doing in Colombia? That's more important because we're a small little country. And for some reason, St. Patrick's Day is big.
But it's such a fun day that is celebrated in many countries, I think. The way I will be celebrating it is by creating a fun St. Patrick's hat for my baby in nursery.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes. What about you? How are you celebrating it?
I don't know, but the government in Ireland have decided to give us a second bank holiday. So it's our national day, you know, St. Patrick's Day. So we all get a day off. So we have Thursday and Friday off this week. I won't know what to do with myself. It's a long weekend. So it's pretty exciting. But I think it's to make up for we haven't had St. Patrick's Day for 2 years. So it's probably to make up something around that. And to thank all the healthcare workers and all the stuff and all the people who dealt with all the difficult things through the pandemic. So it's going to be pretty nice, and it's going to be a big weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. And we've got a really exciting guest today, a friend of mine.
Yes, and so Carolina Alzate, she's a design engineer with a master's in packaging design and a specialist in branding and packaging design as well. She's a design thinker for business and services. Carolina has been recognized with 9 international awards, including 4 Pentawards, which essentially is like the Oscars for packaging design, in Paris 2012, Tokyo 2014, London 2015, and Barcelona 2017. Carolina is the founder of Openlab, an innovation and strategy studio that transforms and accelerate companies through innovation. Welcome, Carol, to How to Be the Difference. You're super welcome along. Please tell us whereabouts in the world are you?
Right now, I'm here in Medellin, Colombia, in the open space. The open space is part of my company, is the place where I work, and I'm here in a meeting room with you here right now.
Amazing. Okay, but then let's start by hearing more about your journey. Take us through the journey of your life. Like, tell us about who is Carolina, your background, for us to understand your journey up until here.
Okay, so my journey is maybe like a kind of movie journey because it has a lot of ups and downs. I grew up in a neighborhood that is in Medellin. The location of this neighborhood is La Comuna 13, that it used to be very violent. And I met Johanna in that place because we were neighbors. So I grew up in that place, surrounded by very difficult situation. I was middle class family. I was part of this middle class family, but also I was very good in the academic part in the school. But at the same time, I was always curious. So I was very, trying to be very good in the academic part, but in the other way, very curious to explore different things. So I grew up there, and then something made me change the point of view because I wanted to be a doctor, and I couldn't do it because I couldn't go through the university that I want to study So my dad bring me like a brochure of a very high class university, and he said to me that he only have money for the first semester. So I took it because I didn't have anything else to do. And that made very something that changed my life, because when I started studying in this university, everything changed for me, because I started knowing people very different from my life, very high class people, but at the same time, very intelligent. They have been, traveling around the world, knowing different languages, and I didn't know anything about it. And I want to explore this. So I decided to start this career without, being very convinced about it. But I decided to be very passionate about whatever I decided to do. So I decided to end this career. And for surprise of my family and my partners and people that was in the university with me, I was very bad in the university because it was in design engineer. So in the engineering part, I was very bad. But at the same time, I was very good in designing, creativity, and making innovation in the process. Then I started my own company because I didn't want to work in a company, because I just had one practice in a company that it was very conventional, and every Wednesday how can I say this?
The HR manager.
Yes, always called me to have. They always complain about me every week, about my style, about what I was doing. Everything was a problem. So I decided to start my own company to try to build my own philosophy of life and work and everything. That's why I started a company without money, with a very huge debt in Colombia, and my parents didn't, support me. So it was very hard for me to start. And I started this company, and I started being very successful in this company, and I start winning awards, international awards in Tokyo, in Barcelona, in Londres. So it was very surprised, because nobody believed that I can do that. Say hi. So yes, it changed my life, because I started winning money, having famous in Colombia, but it also have been very difficult for me, because I didn't know how to manage the famous thing. And I used to have a partner in my company that also was my husband, and everything changed, because we had the first kid, Jacobo. I had a son, and right now he's 11 years old. But I also had another daughter, Rebecca, and when she was 4 months, she died. She passed away, so it was very difficult. So everything goes down, and I decided to break up with my ex-husband. I decided to come out from the company, and I felt in that part of my life lost. And in that part was very difficult. But right now, when I take a look in the past, I always say thank you, because the person that I the person that I became to this moment is just part of the process. And if I didn't have this difficult part, I couldn't be this person right now that I feel very proud. So yes, as I said before, ups and downs. My journey was very, also funny and interesting, but difficult in some moments, but also make me stronger.
That's an amazing introduction to yourself, Carolina. First off, I'm extremely sorry that what happened to you and your daughter. That was a terrible thing that happened. But just to touch on some of the other stuff that you said, you've won loads of awards all over the world. It's like, what's behind that? Like, did you always know you were a creative person?
Okay, behind the words, I always visualized that I wanted that award in my life, in my professional career, of course. And I also have like this mood board with the vision that I want to approach or to try to get, but for me it was very, difficult to have it. But behind that, you have discipline, vision, consistency, mentality. Emotional intelligence is very important, because in some occasions you can win, but in other part of your life you lost. So you have to be prepared, because not every time you're gonna win. So behind that is, I think very hard work to try to get these kind of results. And I think also the awards give me the validation also in Colombia, but not only in Colombia, also international, and give me a lot of work and bring me different people, new people in my life through these awards. After the awards, I started being the part of the jury member. I was the first Colombian, the first woman in the jury member, and also the first Colombian in this group. So it brings me a lot, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's amazing. And then something else you said as well, it's like you had working with a company and you didn't like their kind of style of work. And hello to your cat as well, and no, nobody else could see this. Yeah, you said you previously worked with a company, you didn't like how that company treated you. So when you started your own business, how did you change, or did you do anything different?
I think everyone starts a company without knowing what is going to happen. If we know from the beginning what is going to happen, we never start it, because it's very, very difficult. You start with the idea that you're gonna work less, but that's a lie. You always work more than in a company, in another people company. But a lot of things change. The first thing is that you believe that you know things, or you know to do something, and that's the reason that you start a company. But after that came the finance part, the technology part, the product design, service design, a lot of things that you don't know. I just started a company because I want to design something and be creative. And that's just a tiny part of the whole business. So at the beginning, I was very, that kind of kid spirit, that you don't know anything about it, but you start just with this passion. And then I start learning a lot of things, knowing that relationships with different people is very important. The networking is very important to grow your company, to know about different kind of technologies, to know about finance. So yes, maybe the entrepreneurship is always a huge world, and just start with a tiny part of it, and that gives me a lot of knowledge and people that right now I know.
Amazing. And you touch on two things we want to expand on. One is creativity, and the other one is networking. So in creativity, what does make someone creative? And can you learn to be creative, or you are born as a creative person?
Both. You can born as that, or you also can develop the ability. Creativity is an ability to think different about a problem, or make it an opportunity to build something new. So it's very beautiful, because with that ability, you can change everything: logistic, process, technology, business, branding, everything. Everything that you touch can be different just with the ability. And the funny part is that you can have creativity without have an education. You can be creative just without know anything about it, or have a degree about it. The thing is, the most part of people think they are not creative, and that's why World Economic Forum say that the ability that we have to approach to 2025 is the creativity, because we have technology operating a lot of things, but creativity now. So the people need to expand their mind to make a different approach and to try to solve problems in a different way, because the world right now have a lot of problems that we have to focus and bring something new, and that's the ability thing. How can you do it? With other different things. First one, you have to make your brain grow with different experiences. So you have to put your brain with different experiences, colors, change the way you travel, change the way that you take a shower every morning. That's it. Try to change every day something to expand your mind. Try to make exercises for the brain. You know, try to change things, or maybe I have this object and try to make it in 30 different objects, not being a cell phone. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be something that I can use in another way. So when you expand your mind, oh, sorry, this cat is crazy today. She wants to be here with you right now. So crazy today.
She's your cat and she's your hairbrush as well, and she's just participating in the podcast.
Just so it. So yes, you can learn creativity, you can be creative, but when you are a kid, you are already a creative master. But we as a parents or as educators just kill that imagination, because we said, kids, you can paint a black flower. Why not? But we are always saying what not to do. So that's the way we kill the creativity. Right now, we need kids and teenagers available to create, because they need this ability, because their world is going to be very different.
Absolutely. And the other part I really wanted to expand on as well is the networking part. So coming from a background and families that are middle class, as you said, where we both grew up, how do you create your own network, and how do you take care of that network?
So I didn't know very important people, you know, the CEO of this company, and I was, you know, trying to think how's the best way to approach these people. And one day I decided to write letters by hand, and I write a lot of letters and also put my fragrance there with my business card. Yes, it was very funny. And at the end, I was inviting them to a coffee with me if they like the letter and also the smell. So a lot of CEOs answered to me like, wow, this is the first time someone did this for me. And that's why the way that I start building this network, approaching these important people in this different and creative way. So I start, you know, having coffees every week, maybe 2, maybe 3, in some cases 4, and they always came back with someone new to introduce to myself, and it started growing and growing. And after that, I started being a speaker. So every time that I have a talk or workshop, I knew something. I knew someone new in that in the audience. So it started growing, and also through podcasts. And now it's very big, and I also have the ability to connect creative people, corporate, different kind of people here. And I think it's a very huge ability, because if you don't know, you don't need to know, but maybe you know someone that knows. So I always think, maybe I have a contact in London that can help me with that, or maybe in New York. And every time that I travel, every time that I also call my contacts and ask them, introduce me to someone else in this process. So it happens in that way.
That's excellent. And also it's a great idea to do something completely different, to introduce yourself. you're a design engineer, and you've got you come into companies and you propose like very kind of radical changes to the way they do things traditionally. Would I be wrong in saying that?
Yeah, no, you're
Oh,
right.
that's great. So how do you convince a company to completely change their model or change the way they look?
Because it's a process. I don't try to be very radical at the beginning because they are gonna be afraid. So it's like going up to stairs, you know, and level 1, level 2, level 3. So I joined this kind of journey also with mentality. We have the Open School that is like a creative school where we teach the creative mentality and how to take risks, how to approach innovation, how to grow the abilities in the team to be very aligned with them to grow the strategy and also the mentality. Because if you make it very radical, I'm very sure it's gonna be a failure. But if I make it increasing, every time, every month, I increase something in the process, I can make it better and in a long term. Because at the beginning, I was very immature and I tried to make it very fast and it always failed. Right now, I know that if I make it slow and I always with them, trying to show them how's the best way to do it and why it's very important to do it and how it's aligned to the culture, the people, and also the trendy part of the world, what is happening around the world. They are going to be convinced to take every step with us, and they feel sure. So I think it's a process, and in some cases it's not easy. There are so many companies that are they have a lot of fears inside, and that's part of the journey. And in that occasion, maybe it's not gonna be radical. Maybe it's just gonna be something that is incremental and that's it. So I'm not trying to push them or force them to do something that I want. I just understand how the company is, what is happening in the world, what is happening in the client's mentality, and try to mix an opportunity from there.
Amazing. That's really good. I want to go back to a point that you mentioned at the beginning, actually in your introduction, and it's about working in yourself. How do you work in yourself as a human being?
This journey started 8.5 years ago, and I always have the accountability because it's very important for me. This journey I think is my part of it is this journey in myself. And I work in a very different rituals. I have rituals right now that I do every day, and also have these kind of journeys outside of my company and my work that also give me the mentality. So I practice Qigong, that is like old ancestral Chinese technique. I also practice yoga. I also eat very well, have a very healthy journey during the day. But every maybe 2 months, I take a journey to different place, maybe very holistic, and I use different tools. So I have been in different kind of neuroscience therapies, also psilocybin therapies, also with indigenous therapies. I tried a lot of things, but I just keep in my journey the things that I know and I can see that works to me. Not everything works for everyone, but I know what works for me. So it's very simple, right? If I write every day a journal and I put all my emotional perspective there, I know that I'm gonna be very good that day. Moving the body, even if it's just 10 minutes, is very important. Having a healthy eat every day. Right now I'm doing fasting. I think it's very good and it works for me. Also to speak with have a different kind of talks with different people, have this kind of coffee every week with somebody that is really different, even if it's not for work or for something, just to have a different perspective. Also help me to go to study something new. Be a student is very important for me because most part of the time I'm the speaker or the facilitator. I also need to be the student because it gives me the humbleness that I need every day with my team. So it's a mix of things, but if I'm very practical, this is my routine every day, and it works a lot.
Well, you've been very good with your time, and I just have one more question for you. I don't want to keep you any longer, but what is next for you and Openlab? What's coming up down the line?
Okay, I'm gonna show you. My next one is to launch the open school in Latin America through technology, of course, growing in digital, because our courses, open school open your mind in a very huge way, and the results are very good. So I want to keep the consultancy tiny, very boutique, because it's the way that I can be with the clients. But with the open school, now I know that I can go bigger through digital and touch the Latin American market, because here we have these tiny companies that are the huge part of the economy here, and they need to grow their mentality. So I can give that through open school, and that's the next step for the Openlab.
Amazing. And before we say goodbye, that wasn't the last one, but Caro, since we are in March, which is International Women's Month, and I know a lot of women admire your career, especially in Latin America. What would be your advice to those women wanting to, I don't know, get a new job, get better at self-confidence? I don't know, just a general women advice.
Okay, I love women, and I love to be one of them. And I just want to say that if you have a flower and you cultivate that flower and you look that flower every day, give to yourself the same that you're gonna give to that flower. If you want to be bigger, colorful, open it. I think that the women didn't like themselves in the mirror, and now is the moment to love yourself in the mirror. Say that you're good, that you can have that work, that you have the abilities to do everything that you want. No one is gonna love you if you don't love yourself. And I know a lot of fantastic girls around me that are very professional, that know a lot of things. But when they start working with me, they didn't know they have this huge potential. So believe yourself. You're here for a reason. You are breathing, and you have another day of life because something. So make it happen, make it work, and give to yourself the best that you're giving to that flower that you're cultivating.
Thank you, Carolina, for your time, and we look forward to following you and Openlab in this new chapter as well, scaling into a education and technology company, which I'm very excited about.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I hope you like it, and please shine and keep doing these kind of things. And very, very happy to meet you here, guys, and sorry for the delay.
Thanks a million. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Caro. Take care.
That was Carolina Alzate. Was that close
well
enough?
Said. Yeah, that was very
was
close.
It?
Carolina Alzate.
For what people don't know is that Johanna makes fun of my pronunciation of names all the time here on this podcast. Well, not when people are listening, but I'm terrible with it, in fairness.
when they're English names, then you make fun of me. And so
that was a fantastic chat with Carolina, just learning about all of the crazy work ethic, like crazy kind of like of just ability in design. And you've been friends for a long time, which was really great to hear, you know.
And creativity, the way that she does things, she's very unique in her, yes. And all of that, you can really feel it gets through you, embracing your uniqueness, and yeah, just exercising creativity is really, really important. The world needs a lot more of our own creative selves.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, I hope you enjoy it, whatever part of the world you're in. And you can reach us at How to Be the Difference at the Intern Group, or on social media at the Intern Group. And I keep on saying this wrong, Johanna, but the people have spoken, and I've been they've been complaining, or not complaining, that's the wrong word, given out to me, that's what we say in Ireland, that I keep saying subscribe, you know, but it's on Spotify, so you know,
you gotta say like and follow on Spotify.
Like and follow and subscribe, whatever your app tells you to do, just go ahead and do that. That's absolutely amazing for us. Thanks a million for joining us. Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Carolina. And thank you all for listening. And see you very soon.
See you soon. Good luck. Bye-bye.